Force Operation Hadenkai in the northeast zone of the country conducted various offensive operations in villages, mountains, roads, and towns in Goza, Bama, Gubio, Bio, Dikwa, Mongunu, and Konduga local government areas of Borno State, as well as Mubi in Mubi local government area of Adamawa State. Several raid, fighting patrols, and ambush operations were conducted to curb the activities of terrorists and other criminal elements within the joint operational area. Notably, between 8 and 13 February 2023, troops, while acting on credible intelligence, ambushed Boko Haram and Islamic State of West African Province terrorists at locations within Goza, Mafa, and Bama local government areas of Borno State. At all these locations, troops made contacts with the terrorists, during which 10 terrorists were neutralized while others fled in disarray with gunshot wounds. Troops exploited the general areas and recovered 6 AK-47 rifles, 38 rounds of 7.62mm special, 71 rounds of 45mm ammunition, 50 rounds of 7.62mm NATO, 5 den guns, 4 AK-47 rifle magazine, 4 motorcycles, 2 pairs of desert camouflage, 28 bundles of mats, clothing materials, medical supplies, and Bafeng radios, among other sundry items. Equally, troops, while on fighting patrol between 9th and 21st February 2023, made contact with Boko Haram and Islamic State of West African Province terrorists at villages within Goza, Jere, and Bama local government areas of Borno State. During this engagement, troops neutralized 7 of the terrorists, while others fled with severe gunshot wounds. Troops also recovered 2 AK-47 rifles loaded with 10 rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition. Other items recovered are 3 den guns, medical supplies, mobile phone, motorcycles, clothing materials, among other items. Furthermore, between 9th and 20th February 2023, troops arrested 11 Boko Haram and Islamic State of West African Province terrorist logistics suppliers at several locations within Borno and Adamawa State. Items recovered from them included assorted clothing materials, medical supplies, large quantity of items suspected to be hard drugs, livestock, 138 jerrycans of premium motor spirit, and other sundry items. Also, on 11 February 2023, troops on fighting patrol responded to a distress call on the activities of terrorists in Malam Maja in Dikwa local government area of Borno State. However, the terrorists fled on sighting troops. The general area was exploited and troops rescued 20 abducted civilians. Consequently, within the weeks in focus, troops in the northeast zone of the country recovered 17 AK-47 rifles, 9 den guns, 12 AK-47 rifle magazines, 86 rounds of 7.62mm special, 71 rounds of 45mm ammunition, and 145 rounds of 7.62mm NATO. Other items recovered include 132 jerrycans of premium motor spirit, 6 motorcycles, 1 vehicle, medical supplies, livestock, 28 bundles of mats, assorted clothing materials, mobile phones, and other sundry items. Troops equally neutralized 27 terrorists and arrested 18 logistic suppliers, spies, and informants of the terrorists at different locations within the theater, as well as rescued 20 abducted civilians, while a total of 252 Boko Haram terrorists and Islamic State of West African Province terrorists and members of their family, comprising 24 adult male, 79 adult female, and 150 children surrendered to own troops at different locations within the theater of operation. All recovered items rescued civilians, and apprehended suspects have been handed over to appropriate authorities for further action, while the surrendered Boko Haram and Islamic State of West African Province terrorists and members of their families are being profiled for further action. Relatively, the air component of Operation Hadankai conducted several air interdiction operations against terrorist enclave and logistic base in support of the ground troops. Notably, on 13 February 2023, following intelligence report that revealed the gathering of some wanted terrorist top commanders and leaders who had assembled at Mandara Mountains to re-strategize on their terrorist activities. Consequently, an air interdiction operation was carried out at the location. Feedback revealed that the airstrike dealt a massive blow on the terrorists, as several of the terrorists were reported to have been neutralized, including some key commanders, while others escaped with severe injuries. A similar operation was conducted in Wuye fishing pound area of Borno State, following the sighting of about 50 terrorists in the general area. The location was subsequently bombarded and several of the terrorists were neutralized in the airstrike. Equally, on 19 February 2023, an air interdiction operation was conducted at identified terrorist enclave at Tumbuktu Triangles in Damboa local government area of Borno State. The operation was carried out following intelligence reports that revealed the stockpiling of weapons and supplies at the Timbuktu Triangle to sustain the Islamic State of West African Province and Boko Haram terrorist activities. It was further revealed that the location is one of the enclaves from which the terrorists launched attack against the Maiduguri-Damboa general area. Hence, the location was bombarded, and reliable feedback revealed that several of the terrorists were neutralized and their weapons and structure destroyed in the airstrike. In the same vein, another air interdiction operation was conducted at identified Islamic State of West African Province terrorist enclave in Baraga and Dogon Chukum, both in the southern and northern Tumbus, on 20th February 2023. At these locations, intelligence revealed that terrorists were converging and massing up to plan attacks in the general area. Consequently, the location were targeted and bombarded. Reliable reports confirmed that several of the terrorists were neutralized in the airstrike. Now to the North Central Zone. Troops of Operation Safe Haven, as well as other operations in the North Central Zone, have sustained the offensive against terrorists and other criminal elements in their general area of operations. In furtherance to this, operational activities were conducted at different locations and villages within Jos South, Wase, and Bokos local government area of Plateau State. Other locations, as well as other locations within the theater of operations. Notably, within 16th and 18th February 2023, troops on patrol responded to a distress call on the kidnapping incident at Kwanyam Fulani along Jos Abuja Road in Jos South local government area of Plateau State. Troops mobilized to the location and engaged the criminals in a firefight, who fled. Troops searched the general area and rescued 10 abducted civilians. Troops equally engaged some criminal elements in Yelwan Nono village in Bokos local government area of Plateau State, who fled in disarray, during which 4 civilians were also rescued. Troops also responded to robbery activities at Anguldil village in Jos South local government area of Plateau State on the same day. Troops mobilized to the location and made contact with the criminals, who equally fled. Troops mobilized the general area and recovered 1 fabricated rifle, 1 pistol, and 76 rustled cattle. Troops also, on 9 February 2023, while on a checkpoint duty at Katsina Ala of Benue State, intercepted a vehicle and arrested 2 suspected gun runners. Troops recovered 1 FN rifle, with a fully loaded magazine, 1 pump-action gun, a motorcycle, and 3 mobile phones. Accordingly, within a week in review, troops recovered 1 FN rifle with a fully loaded magazine, 1 pump-action, 3 locally fabricated rifle, 5 rounds of 7.62mm special, 4 locally fabricated pistol, 3 motorcycles, 8 mobile phones, 7 bags of substance suspected to be Indian hemp, 76 Russell cattle, and other sundry items. Troops equally neutralized 1 criminal, arrested 18 suspected criminals, and rescued 14 abducted civilians. All recovered items, arrested suspects, and rescued civilians have been handed over to relevant authorities for further action. Now we look at the northwest zone of the country. Troops of Operation Harun Daji and other operations have continued to sustain their dominance over the menace of terrorists and other criminal elements in the northwest zone of the country. Precisely between 9th and 12th February 2023, troops on fighting patrol responded to information on terrorist activities in Giwa, Birnin-Gwari, and Zango-Kata local government areas of Kaduna State. In these operations, troops made contact with the terrorists, and following the firefight, troops neutralized 5 terrorists while others fled with gunshot wounds. Troops equally exploited the general area and recovered 3 AK-47 rifles, 1 locally fabricated rifles loaded with 37 rounds of 7.62mm special, magazine carrier, 3 motorcycles, mobile phones, among other sundry items, while 7 abducted civilians were also rescued during these operations. In the same vein, between 16th and 19th February 2023, troops on fighting patrol responded to terrorist activities in Tumba and Ghana Kambas Sawa village in Sabon Birni local government area of Sokoto State. During the engagement, troops neutralized 4 terrorists and recovered 1 AK-47 rifle and 3 motorcycles, as well as rescued 13 civilians earlier kidnapped by the terrorists. Similarly, the troops of Operation Wild Punch on 4th February 2023 responded to information on the presence of Boko Haram terrorists and Islamic State of West African Province terrorist Kingpin at Damba community in Chukum local government area of Kaduna State. Subsequently, troops mobilized to the location and arrested 3 terrorists. One of the terrorists arrested was identified as one of the mastermind of the 20th March 2022 terrorist attack on the Abuja-Kaduna train services. Following the operation, troops recovered 2 motorcycles, 2 mobile phones, and the sum of $5,000, as well as other currencies and sundry items. Also on 16 February 2023, troops on fighting patrol made contact with terrorists at Ungwambere in Kujuru local government area of Kaduna State. Following the firefight, troops neutralized 7 terrorists while others fled. Troops exploited the general area and recovered 83 rounds of 7.62mm NATO, 50 rounds of 7.62mm special, 7 magazines, 5 motorcycles, and 3 mobile phones, among other items. Also on 20th February 2023, troops on fighting patrol to Ghana Oil village in Bogu local government area of Niger State recovered 2 AK-47 rifles, 4 magazines, 66 rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition, and 7 Boko Haram and Islamic State of West African Province terrorist flags. Consequently, within the weeks in review, troops in the northwest zone of the country recovered 10 AK-47 rifles, 83 rounds of 7.62mm NATO, 238 rounds of 7.62mm special, 2 locally fabricated rifles, 1 locally fabricated pistol, 7 magazines, 19 motorcycles, mobile phones, 30 Russell cattle, and other sundry items. Troops also neutralized 23 terrorists and arrested 9, as well as rescued 23 abducted civilians. All recovered items, rescued civilians were handed over to relevant authorities for further action. while arrested terrorists were documented for further action. Equally, the air component of Operation Hazard Daji conducted a series of air interdiction operations to disseminate and deny the terrorists freedom of action within the zone. Specifically, on 13th February 2023, an air interdiction operation was conducted based on intelligence report on terrorist gathering for a wedding ceremony at a location within Safana local government area of Katsina State. Feedback recorded that several of the terrorists were neutralized in the airstrike. Another air interdiction operation was conducted at identified terrorist location within Kanakara and Batsari local government area in Katsina State. Feedback revealed that several terrorists were neutralized in both airstrikes. In another development, the air component of Operation Wise Punch on 14th February 2023 equally conducted air interdiction operations at identified terrorist locations in Riwaya in Kaduna State. The locations was observed to be active with terrorist activities. Accordingly, the identified targets were engaged and bombarded, destroying several of the terrorists and neutralizing several of the terrorists and destroying their structures. Now to the South-South zone. Troops of the Joint Task Force Operation Delta Safe and other operations in the South-South region of the country have continued to sustain the war against oil theft, illegal refinery, and other criminal activities in the Niger Delta through aggressive patrols, raids, and clearance operations, among other activities. Operations were conducted at the creeks, waterway, high sea towns, cities of Bayelsa, Delta, and Rivers State, respectively, which yielded appreciable results. Precisely on 11 February 2023, troops raided and identified criminal houses at different locations within Isoko South local government area of Delta State and arrested 8 suspects. Troops also recovered 10 den guns, 1 GPMG belt with 112 rounds of 7.62 millimeter NATO ammunition, 340 rounds of 7.62 millimeter special, 2 AK-47 magazine, 3 G3 rifle magazine, 1 pair of woodland camouflage with berets, 8 mobile phones, Boafeng radios, substance suspected to be hard drugs, and other sundry items. On the same day, troops raided and identified notorious criminal hideouts who has been on the wanted list of troops at Abu Abo local government area of Rivers State, who fled on sighting troops. Troops searched the general area and recovered 1 AK-47 rifle with a magazine loaded with 10 rounds of 7.62 millimeter special ammunition. Additionally, troops of Operation Delta Safe in the conduct of Operation Octopus Grip and other operations in the South-South zone of the country within the weeks in review recovered and destroyed 61 illegal refinery sites, 289 storage tanks, 167 ovens, 19 dugout pits, and 13 wooden boats. Troops equally recovered 250,500 liters of automotive gas oil, 75,000 liters of crude oil, 2,000 liters of premium motor spirits, 20 assorted weapons, 359 variety of ammunition, 10 vehicles, 2 speedboats, 2 pumping machines, and 2 outboard engines, while a total of 142 suspected criminals were also arrested. All recovered items and apprehended suspects have been handed over to appropriate authorities for further action. It is worthy to note that the sum of 222,338,430 naira were denied oil theft within the week under review. Equally, the air component of Operation Delta Safe carried out a series of air interdiction operations within the theater of operation that recorded some remarkable achievements. Notably, on 9 February 2023, an air interdiction operation was conducted at Boku, Bokiri, and identified illegal oil refinery sites and refining tanks and reservoirs loaded with suspected illegal refined products were seen and bombarded. After the airstrike, it was observed that an explosion took off, which burned down the storage tanks and reservoirs in that location. Now to the southeast zone of the country. Troops of the Joint Task Force Operation Udoka in the southeast zone of the country have sustained the fight against the outlaw indigenous people of Biafra and Eastern Security Network terrorists aimed at restoring peace and normalcy in the zone. Notably, on 19 February 2023, troops made contact with the terrorists while responding to an attack on a location along Umulere, Onitsha Road. Following the engagement, troops neutralized 5 terrorists, arrested 2, and recovered 1 AK-56 rifle, 1 M70 AB2 rifle, 2 loaded magazines, explosive, 1 vehicle, among other items. Troops equally had a meeting engagement with the criminals between 13th and 18th February 2023 at a location within Okigwe local government area of Imo State. The operation was carried out based on an intelligence report about the regrouping of the terrorists at that location. During the encounter, troops neutralized 1 terrorist while others fled. However, troops exploited the general area and recovered 5 rounds of 7.62mm special, 19 cartridges, 2 locally handheld explosive, large quantity of substance suspected to be hard drugs, and other sundry items. Also, troops in conjunction with other security agencies raided several identified indigenous people of Biafra and Eastern Security Network terrorist camp within Ihiala local government area of Anambra State. Following the encounter in these operations, troops neutralized 2 terrorists and recovered 1 AK-47 rifle loaded with 14 rounds of 7.62mm special, 8 motorcycles, 3 vehicles, mobile phones, among other items. Troops equally arrested 13 of the terrorists. Equally, troops between 19th and 20th February 2023 responded to the indigenous people of Biafra and Eastern Security Network terrorist attack on Oyi and Onitsha South local government area in Anambra State. In both incidences, troops made contact with the terrorists, and following the firefight, troops neutralized 8 terrorists while others fled. Troops also recovered 5 AK-47 rifle, 1 pump-action rifle, 7 cartridges, 2 vehicles, 1 petrol bomb, among other items. Also, troops in conjunction with the Department of State Services on 8 February 2023 arrested 2 suspected gun runners in Anambra and recovered 1 AK-47 rifle with 3,985 rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition buried in a shallow trench. Consequently, within the week in focus, troops recovered 9 AK-47 rifle, 1 M70 AB2 rifle, 1 AK-56 rifle, 1 pump-action rifle, 3,924,000 rounds of 7.62mm special, 20 cartridges, explosive, mobile phones, 10 motorcycles, 14 vehicles, and other sundry items. Troops also neutralized 18 indigenous people of Biafra and Eastern Security Network terrorists, while arresting 18, including a high-profile gun runner. All recovered items and apprehended terrorists have been handed over to appropriate authorities for further action. Equally, the air component of Operation Udoka conducted all interdiction operations in response to intelligence reports on the activities of the indigenous people of Biafra and the Eastern Security Network terrorists at a high ground within Ihiala local government area of Anambra State. The location was observed to be active with terrorist activities with various structures as well as their flag hosted in the location. Subsequently, the target was bombarded, neutralizing several terrorists as well as destroying their structure. Finally, to the southwest zone of the country. Troops of Operation Awase in the southwest region of the country have continued to clamp down on the activities of criminal elements within the general area of operation. Between 15th and 17th February 2023, troops in conjunction with other security agencies carried out raid operations to identify criminal hideouts in Akala community and Ajah general area in Mushi and Etiosa local government area of Lagos State. During the operations, troops arrested 110 suspected drug peddlers comprising of 96 male and 5 female, as well as recovered assorted substances suspected to be hard drugs and the sum of 82,000 naira only, among other sundry items. At Akala community, while 16 suspects were also arrested in the raid at a hideout in Ajah general area, all in Lagos State. Items recovered from the suspects include axes, cutlasses, hammers, jackknife, large quantity of substance suspected to be hard drug, and the sum of 700,000 naira only, among other items. Operational activities were also conducted in Ondo, Oyo, Osun, Ogun, and Ekiti states. Consequently, within the weeks in review, troops arrested 117 suspected drug peddlers, 34 suspected criminals, large quantity of suspects suspected to be hard drugs, as well as the sum of 782,000 naira only was also recovered. All recovered items and apprehended suspects have been handed over to appropriate authorities for further action. On a final note, I wish to once again convey the Military High Command commendation on their troops and other security agencies' efforts in the various theater of operations across the country. The media community is also acknowledged in their partnership and continued cooperation with the military and other security agencies in our quest to restore peace and security to our dear country. Also, the entire populace is hereby appreciated for their support given to the armed forces and other security agencies in the conduct of our various operations across the country, while also urging them to continue to provide prompt and credible information on the activities of terrorists and other criminal elements in their respective areas. Thank you all for your attention, and God bless you all.